Folks, what's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and gonna cover a little bit more of the upcoming update that's coming alongside the Warden and Paunch DLC. I think I accidentally said the Grom and Paunch DLC, which someone then commented and said, well, it makes sense. Grom is so immense that he needs to have both sides of the DLC named after him. And I was like, well, that actually could be. But in any case, yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about Imrik today. Maybe you don't want to buy the DLC. Maybe you don't have the money for the DLC. Maybe you could care less about the DLC. Either way, Imrik is coming to you free in the update. And I haven't gotten to cover him yet. I'm already playing 2 campaigns, so I'm not going to do a full playthrough with him at the moment. I may do one in the future. Where does Imrik start? Both in the Vortex and Mortal Empires. So just make sure I was in Vortex. So Imrik's start in Vortex is here in Shifting Sands, close to the Southland World's Edge Mountains. There's some dwarf factions in here. You're going to be near, I believe, a Wood Elf faction when you start, and Khemri and some of the others. So you're going to be fighting Tomb Kings. You're going to be fighting potentially dwarves, Wood Elves. It is an interesting start position. Probably won't be too crazy challenging. Some of the lands in Khemri are fairly wealthy. And as far as your start position, this will be the easier Imrik campaign to tackle on the Vortex, and should be a lot of fun as you go through it. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit more about some of his capabilities here in a moment. But yeah, let's talk about his start position. So that's who you're going to be starting around. As far as the climates, it says mountain is suitable, but I do believe we'll load into one and check. I'm pretty sure that the areas around him will be somewhat suitable. Plus, by loading in, I can show you a little bit more about some of his capabilities. Now, before you go any further, I have campaign saves from Mortal Empires. I'm going to load into a turn 1 in Mortal Empires here in a minute. First, I'm going to start in Vortex and just show you where he starts there and what it's like around him. Then we're going to flip over to Mortal Empires, where I've actually done some playing with him, and his start there is much harder. In fact, let's I'll take a look at it in just a second. And I'm going to show you at turn 1, turn 28, and turn 62, and kind of give you an idea of whether or not my strategy was working and how effective it was. So this is kind of a how-to Imrik video in Mortal Empires, but I do want to cover his Vortex start while we're here. Now, dragon taming is really this guy's cool feature, and it's really neat that they put this in the free LC because it makes him very unique. It kind of gives you a high elf that has some of the monster hunt type features that came in the Norska campaign, but these dragons can potentially either join your army, or you can like pay them off to get special abilities if you don't want to fight them right at the moment, and you can fight them again later. There's at least 5 of these other special dragons, I think. I can't remember the exact number, but it was a bunch. And they're really cool, they're very powerful, and the fights to obtain them can be quite challenging. So it is really a good time. Plus, Imrik himself has a Star Dragon mount, and the mages in the elf armies now can have dragon mounts as well. So it becomes a very dragon-themed campaign, like a how to tame your dragon, and I think you all really like it. Anyway, let's load into this Vortex campaign start and show you what it looks like, and kind of go from there.
Long have I led the great host of Calador. Now the Phoenix King has sent me to the Southlands to help restore the great vortex created by my forebear, the great Calador Dragon Tamer. The bowmen of Orion dwell nearby, fellow elves of the Azray who could prove strong allies should we choose to help them. Locations of arcane power are close, where we can gather the wave fragments we need. Some appear uninhabited. Others may require us to remove the primitive creatures that inhabit them. Further afield are ancient ports, once under Asur control. We could reclaim them for better communications back to Ulthwan, but must be wary that these deserts are the realm of undead kings, who would sooner go to war than have us annex their lands. Tyrion and Teclis may consider themselves the foremost defenders of the Vortex, but they shall soon see that the bloodline of the House of Calador still runs hot with dragonfire.
Alright, so here is your start position, and you can see here you're going to be at Kasabar, and as far as the territories around you, the other parts of this entire province here are Plain of Tuskers, Vagar, and Antok. And you start at war with all these factions. Or actually, this one looks unsettled. Could be Skaven. You always got to be somewhat, you know, careful of that possibility. But as you can see here that this desert climate also shows as suitable. And then you got the mountain climates through here. So he's going to be well suited to taking most everything through here, other than this kind of jungle-y stuff over here. Where the last defenders. So this kind of gives you an idea of what you could be fighting. There is the Strigos Empire. So there's vampires, there's Tomb Kings. Whether or not you ally them, there's wood elves here. There's dwarves in these there hills. There's Bretonians far to the west. There's lizards around. So a very interesting start position here for Calidor. Now, the way his mechanics work, I'll explain it more when we load on to the other one in the Mortal Empires, but this is the number of turns till you encounter a dragon. Obviously, you're gathering wave fragments here and playing a Vortex campaign. But as you can see, pretty easy start position. Quite a bit of wealth around you. Pretty good lands to start with. This is Vortex. Let's jump over to Mortal Empires and take a look at that. All right, now Mortal Empires, his start is in the Plane of Bones. And this is going to be a very difficult start, actually. There's very little money to be had here. Trade with Ulthuan is going to be non-existent for a very long time, which is pretty much the High Elf bread and butter when it comes to money. So money will be tight, allies will be few if any, and you're going to be fighting some rather challenging factions early on, dwarves, and then you're also going to be up against Deathmaster Snitch, who multiplies like rabbits who are eating bottles of Viagra. So you have to be very, very careful of the rats early on in this one. Let's load in, show you what your start position looks like. I'll talk a little bit about the strategy I took, and then I'll load the 2 additional save points to show you how it was going for me, and we'll take a look at it.
Behold, Prince Imrik, you have arrived at the Plane of Bones, ancient graveyard of the dragons, to honor their dead and seek the wisdom of those still roaming the world. Few relics are left, for dark magic once took hold of this place. Furthermore, the dwarfs have committed sacrilege in seeking the dragon's treasures, wantonly despoiling their remains. You must punish their gold lust and purge them from their mountain holds. But be on your guard. Other nearby Dawi will not take this lightly and may seek vengeance. There is dark, ancient power to be found in the south. Though you may think twice before meddling here, it may be necessary. For in the distant ocean, a formidable black ark of the Druki has been spotted. Its business unknown. Noble dragon prince, these are wild and untamed lands, infested by greedy Dawi, twisted greenskins, and other more secretive vermin. Come what may, the Knights of Calidor must prevail.
Alright, so that's his intro. This is where he starts, and yeah. You get the Fortress of Vorag, which is going to be a pretty powerful fortress, has a special building here. The Tower of Bloody Tooth. Gives you some income, which you're going to need badly, but it also has vampiric corruption by leaving it there, so... But you also get a nice garrison from it. So it's an interesting building to start with. It kind of works against you a little bit from a public order, so you're going to be fighting public order massively. And when I played this, I did play it on a very hard campaign difficulty. I think I was just playing through with normal battles because I wasn't trying to like just really make myself go crazy with AI stuff in battle, but I wanted the very hard campaign difficulty because it hits you with the public order issues, and it also hits you with a lot more aggressive and more stacks from your enemies. You got greenskins to your east, they don't like you. The dwarves to your north here don't like you. And you're going to have Eshin over here, far to the east, and to the south, the Druki, who don't like you. And some very inhospitable lands to your west and south. So, yeah. Not a good spot. And even if you take the port over here at Shattered Cove, you can't trade back to Ulthuan with it, which is something CA needs to fix. And it's because this ocean is sealed off over here by the map, but that doesn't allow you to trade back, because it says it can't connect your... But we all know from the Vortex map that you can sail around the bottom of the Southland, so I feel like CA does need to open up the trade when you take a port over here, something that I'll point out to them and see what they think. It would make his start considerably easier. Whether or not that's what they really want to do, I don't know, but I feel like it's weird. I know you can't sail around it map constraint-wise, but it shouldn't prevent trade, because lore speaking, that's not an enclosed ocean there. Anyway, this is what you start with. You're at war with the Dawi to the north. You got to be careful. The Dawi are armored. You don't start with a lot of good armor-piercing infantry. You do get the one lion and the Sun Dragon, which will help immensely. So starting with the Sun Dragon does give you some really good power, and you get a sorcerer a mage here to start with as well. All that's very helpful. But like I said, money's going to be very short. You can see it only starts at 1150, and you're not going to get a lot by picking up Darkhold or some of these other ones. It's just nothing special. There is a little help, though. The Graves of the Dragons here is going to give you some idols and gems, but you won't be trading them. But fortunately, it has 500 income, and that's very fortunate for you that it comes with that. So immediately, you do want to take Darkhold and try and consolidate the Plane of Bones very quickly, so that you have at least one entire province. That was my first goal, was to consolidate Plane of Bones, and then I was actually going to try and make a peace treaty with the Dawi and go ahead and wreck the Greenskins and Clan Eshin before they get out of control and show up, and then potentially try and do the same to Malice before he confederates with Nagarond and becomes a lot more powerful. So that was my strategy, thinking in it is, okay, get Plane of Bones, then move over here to Nobler country, and then come down to the Dragon Isles. And try and pick up a few dragons along the way. I'm going to load my next save point, which is at turn 28, and we'll see how that was going as I was moving along and what it looked like. So here we are at turn 28, and I was actually having a big fight with Deathmaster Snitch. You can see that I did pick up one of the unique dragons from a fight here. This is Imrath the Eternal, who is an anti-large specific dragon, and comes with some pretty cool abilities that we'll show off. In fact, I could use him in battle real quick. He's unbreakable. Very, very good unit. I've still got my Sun Dragon and Dragon Princess from the original. Been using a bunch of Rangers. Money's been a little tight. How about we play this battle real quick? I'll actually show you all how it goes down. We're going to fight the Deathmaster. His forces aren't very good, but there's a whole lot of them at this point, so should be interesting to say the least. Maybe put this on one of our Rangers or something, and let's give this a fight. Okay, I'm here on the battle map. We're about to get things started. I'm going to deploy and try and knock out the reinforcements. Now remember, this is going to be the Deathmaster. There's only a small force over here, so I want to pin the Deathmaster in, smack him up against the red line, rout him quickly. You got to win a lot of battles like this in the Imrik campaign, because the AI is going to have huge numbers, and you're not going to have a ton of money. Now, I do have a pretty sizable and pretty strong army here, which is an obvious benefit for me, but you know, still, you need to try and get as much of this type of stuff in battle as you can. You're gonna need the extra chances here, honestly. So let's roll up. Yeah, here comes the enemy. I'm gonna drop some breath attacks, kind of burn things up a little. See, the assassin's gonna kind of get assassinated early on here. Send my Rangers in on an attack, and let's get Imrik. Roll over here. We do get this Dragonhorn ability, which is kind of like a High Elf Wa here, of sorts. Let's get down here on this Warlock Engineer before he can screw us up too badly. Burning Head would do us very well here. So let's get that fired up, pun intended. Oh boy, and it is brutal. Look at that Burning Head. Kind of gets some of our own troops, unfortunately. But it got a lot of Skaven in the process. Nah, you'll ignore that. Get over here. Dragon Princess, go get those gutter runners. So you can see we're able to push things back here. There's Infecticay. I didn't catch exactly where the Deathmaster was at here. But we've mostly succeeded in mopping up Snitch's reinforcements here. Big bombardment opportunity back here. We've lost some Rangers in the process, but we can replace Rangers. There's worse things to experience. There's Infecticay there. Got a good bombardment back there.
my ball!
Let's drop another breath attack back here. Bring the dragon in. So a big brutal fight here. Maybe go for that caster because he's still dropping the lightning on us. Yeah, the reinforcements have arrived over here. Some Skaven slaves. I don't have enough for a full overcast, but we can probably mop up some of these reinforcements. And I've got a chain lightning bound to this character as well. There we go. Alright, we cleaned him up. So there we go. It's another victory for Prince Imrik and his forces. You can see how important the dragons are there. They get a lot of work done, a lot of terror, and supporting some otherwise somewhat crappy infantry. What was this battle for? I wanted you all to just kind of see the battle. We were actually all the way over at Haunted Forest. You can see that I'm in the process of trying to completely mop up Clan Eshin at this point. So has my strategy worked? Well, let's take a look. I did get a hold of the Plate of Bones. I've been able to build it up a little. It's giving me some base income, even though it's not much. It's enough. We took Pig Barter. We took Shattered Cove. I got Flayed Rock. And I'm basically just finishing off the Skaven here. So far, strategy worked good. The dwarves did take the peace treaty. They didn't want to keep fighting. And then I did this all before Karak Azul really even got into the fight. So it's protected my entire west flank and given me the opportunity to consolidate my war against the Skaven. After having completed this battle previously, much to the same order I did here, I was successful in mopping up the remnants of Deathmaster Snitch. If you basically fight him here again, and just don't auto-resolve this because it'll screw you over pretty hard, but if you just fight it again and win the battle, this is pretty much the end of Clan Eshin, so the strategy worked. You can see I did pick up a dragon, and here's how I got the dragon. After a few turns, it pops up and gives you, like, your first turn's in, like 10 turns, you're not going to be able to fight and win the dragon battle. It's not going to happen, so don't do it. If you have the money, though, you can spend the money to get these special abilities that the dragon give you. Whenever it was my turn, this particular dragon that I was fighting for gave, if you paid him off, all of my units got regenerate. And that's what I used to come fight against all the greenskin and the Skaven, and it worked out very, very well. And then you can see here, after that initial bonus that I got, I was able to then fight a dragon battle once I got enough archers. You do need to get archers for a dragon battle because you're going to have to kill a lot of monsters. I got the archers. I was able to use my special units to hold back the monsters long enough to kill them with the archers. And we were successful in getting Imrith the Eternal here. And that cost you a ton of upkeep. And so you also have to make sure you're fighting forward and taking settlements before you can pay for these dragons. See a very substantial upkeep on this dragon. Anyway, that's how I got to this point. We had the one dragon. Let's warp forward into like turns, I think it's 62, so there's about another 30 turns past this, and see where I'm at. My plan, remember, was take Plain of Bones, take Nobbler Country, and you can see that's about to happen. And then my third one was to take the Dragon Isles and kind of see how things played out here. So let's see whether or not I was successful. All right, here we are at turn 62, and you can see I actually do control the Dragon Isles. I defeated Malice, and it was a pretty easy defeat because by the time I went to fight Malice, I was sitting pretty. You know, I had actually completed another dragon battle, but I don't have that dragon in my army at this moment. And the reason why not is because prior to defeating Malice, I just didn't have the money to pay the upkeep. But then now that I've taken the Dragon Isles, I can probably go ahead and take on yet another dragon in this army. But you can see, in the meantime, though, I was able to get Imrik on his dragon, and then I was able to get my Fire Mage on her dragon, and then I had the original Sun Dragon and Imrith the Eternal. So I had 4 dragons when going to fight Malice, and I started fighting him about, I'd say, 10 turns prior to this. About turn... actually, it wasn't quite turn 50. It's probably turn 45 or so. This is a few turns after I've defeated Malice. I was kind of just consolidating a few things here. You can see his Black Ark survives, so it's still there. But basically defeated his armies. And I do have another dragon available to me. I do have another one. I could show that to you all here. In fact, we can probably drop like one High Elf Archer or a Spearman or something and bring it in. In fact, you know, I don't have a ton of infantry. Let's just drop one of these standard archers. Not that big a deal, and I'll show you. Yeah, I actually have 2 more. Whoops, my bad. So I've got Shakalot the Calamity and Lamero the Frozen Breath. And these are very cool dragons, by the way, and I can have more soon. You can see I have access to all these units. It's really just money that prevented me. Now I have a little bit. We can play with that, and you can actually see that I had the opportunity to take control of Calador on the map. It's actually not a good option. So when it comes time and they say, oh, hey, you can take control of Alzambor over in Calador, it's useless. You still can't trade with the High Elves. Even if you pick up a port settlement, you can't trade with them over here because you can't tie your 2 capitals together. I don't know, maybe you can make something your new capital city and succeed at that. I don't remember if you can do that or not, like change your capital. But if you can, then it'll make it forward. But if you can't, you really don't want to take over Val's Anvil because you can't protect it. And I mean, it does give me a little extra income, so I guess maybe in that sense it's a little bit worth it. But yeah, in any case, that's kind of been my strategy. It's worked out really good with Imrik in this Mortal Empires campaign. Now, yes, my battle difficulty was only on normal, but the campaign difficulty was on very hard, so the strategy held up in a scenario where the AI was going to be giving me the most crap. Winning the dragon battles is a big deal. It's going to make your army very powerful. So see, like right now, my army's already powerful. I could bring in, let's say that we bring in Lamero the Frozen Breath or something here. Like, now my army is just like almost undefeatable, and I've still got another dragon I can throw in here, and then there's another dragon thing coming up soon. So once you get the opportunity to start adding the dragons, Imrik is going to be a very powerful character and a very powerful faction. Really cool that he's the FLC Lord, because this is a unique play style, and I feel like it's really cool of CA to give, as the free update, a Lord that doesn't, you know, it's not like they're giving away their best of the best for free, but they give you good stuff. Like Grom and Eltharion are interesting both in their own way. They have the Cauldron, they have Athel Tamarha, but then I love how the FLC Lord is just not some generic, you know, point-and-click type thing that they put in. You get a cool faction that has a unique mechanic with the dragons, and you get some cool, unique units in the campaign. So I felt like this FLC was really cool in the sense that, you know, it's free. They probably don't have to put a ton of effort into it, and they did something here that I thought is fun, you know, and I think that players will enjoy. So I thought it was really cool in that sense that they made this the update. So that's the strategy for Imrik. I think it will work. You can give it a shot on your own when this releases on the 21st. And hopefully this gives you an idea how to start your Imrik campaign and then continue it on. Where would I go from here? Well, I mean, these lands to the west are not very suitable to be inhabited. I'm struggling to get the last defenders to want to trade with me. These lands are only neutral in terms of their suitability for settling. So honestly, at this point, now that I can afford to, I'm probably going to push north and fight the dwarves. It looks like they're being attacked by another Skaven tribe over here, and so I'm probably going to go ahead and come up here and fight the dwarves now and push them out of their holds to punish them for trying to take the dragon treasure. I may retake Broken Teeth here with Nagashir and Desolation of the Gash just for fun. They're not going to be easy to settle. But yeah, anyway, it worked out, folks. It worked out. That was the basic run of it here, but now I would probably push north on the Mortal Empires map because there's just more suitable places to inhabit, drive my income up, and be able to continue to function. But of course, you know, if you're playing your own campaign, do it however you want. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. HeirofCarthage signing off for now. And like I said, hopefully this gets you a good start to your Imrik campaigns. If you're one of those people who aren't buying the DLC or can't buy the DLC, or if you are buying the DLC and you just want to play as Imrik. I will see you all soon.